All right, one of the media outlets on social media asked the question: was Dirk's one ring in 2011 more important than the two rings that were more valuable than the two rings that Kevin Durant got in Golden State? Kevin Durant responded. I put it on the screen. He said, "Wipe the tears. Let's talk about it. Hit that subscribe button, bell icon button, share the video." And you get that from people who don't understand the history of basketball. Oh, he ganged up on the league. I mean, didn't LeBron gang up on the league first? Only reason people mad at Kevin Durant in the Warriors because they did it better. They didn't miss a beat. It didn't become a selfish team into that last championship run. That's when you start to see it hit the fan. Draymond cussing out KD and Steph Curry and Clay saying we smiled in the huddle when Kevin Durant went out knowing that things can go back to regular. Jealousy started to pile up when they got to the three-peat. That's when it happened. That's when you started to see that, one ball wasn't enough to go around. They couldn't keep everybody happy. But let's talk about it. Don't forget to check out our NBA Talk playlist. Appreciate the love, support. Love Dirk ring. Outside of the two Piston rings that my Piston got, check out the channel Motor City Sports Talk for more Piston talk. Dirk, that's my favorite championship to watch. Dirk beating the hell out of LeBron. All right? But to say what ring is more valuable, I mean, you can go through our history and say, do you say Larry Bird rings not valuable because he played with a few other Hall of Famers? I mean, Bill Walton wasn't much, but he was there. The Chief, if he ain't in the Hall of Fame, I'm pretty sure he is. Kevin McHale, I mean, Dennis Johnson, you gonna mark him for that? Hey, did y'all notice that Magic Johnson never got a ring without Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? Kareem got a ring without Magic in Milwaukee, but Magic doesn't have a ring. So are we gonna say that Dirk rings are more valuable than Magic rings? Because Magic played with several other Hall of Famers and some other good players. Kareem, James Worthy, Jamal Wilkes. People forget Jamal Wilkes dropped the 40 piece that day that they beat Philadelphia and Kareem was out and Magic played center. See, and people don't understand the history of basketball. You know what I'm saying? They don't understand it. We gonna talk about Jordan whole ass rings? I can go there. We gonna talk about how Jordan stole some Pistons and put them on the Bulls to help him get a championship. People forget that. He had a few Pistons on there. Dennis Rodman. He took James Edwards. And there was a few other guys he took on the Bulls. And don't forget, the NBA changed the rules, took Rick Mahorn off the Pistons, put Texan Flagrants in there, and they changed the rules for Jordan to get over the hump versus the Pistons. So we're going to say Dirk championship more valuable than that, because what you got to understand is this. And I always say this in my videos. There are certain players that the NBA push. They push them. And there's certain players that got to go against resistance. Dirk is a dude that had to go against resistance to get his championship. Like it or not, Kevin Durant is another motherfucker who they didn't want to be a winning championship. He had to get into risk. They had to rig the board, or they had to really stack up to stop LeBron, because the NBA wanted LeBron to get all these rings, and if Kevin Durant didn't go over there, he might have got 2 or 3 more rings. Him and Kyrie might still be playing in Cleveland. But y'all forget, they cheated Oklahoma City out of the championship blatantly. You know what I'm saying? LeBron had a powerful squad with Wade, Bosh, Battier, and eventually Ray Allen, and he went 2 for 2 with them. How valuable is LeBron rings then? Why couldn't he get it done in Cleveland without getting help? Jordan got it done in Chicago, didn't he? Bird got it done in Boston. Dirk didn't go nowhere. When it didn't look good, and Dwayne Wade, they cheated for Wade, and Shaq in that finals was at 06, and Wade took 100 free throws a game. Dirk Nowitzki could have cried and got sent somewhere and tried to get a championship. He got it done. You know what I'm saying? I can see people saying like a Gary Payton at the end of his career, his ring didn't matter, or Jason Williams, with the Miami Heat, Jason Williams, Virginia, Jason Williams, it didn't matter. I can see people saying that. I definitely can see people saying that. But to make the argument, you can go through our history and see a lot of championship team rings that, if we're gonna say because they ganged up and they did it, LeBron shit don't matter. It don't have nobody. Dirk's more valuable than a lot of people's. The Pistons more valuable than a lot of people's rings. Both times they won it, or all 3 times they won it. We could just keep going on and on talking about value. Hakeem Olajuwon got more valuable rings than Jordan and Bron and Durant now. Stop playing with me, bro. We can just keep going on and on and on about players and teams that got more valuable rings. It's a stupid ass question. One ring don't hold more value or not. You could say Durant, the Golden State Warriors, is one of the greatest teams of all time. If you're the greatest team of all time, what more weight do you need? What more value do you need? If you was the greatest team of all time, I don't believe they was the greatest team of all time. You know, I like the 86 Celtics. I like some people like the 92, 93 Bulls. You know, some people like the Dennis Rodman Bulls. You know, it was like 96 or something like that. You just keep going on. Some of them Laker teams, man, with Worthy, Cooper, Kareem, Magic, Byron Scott. I mean, you could keep going on and on. You know, real talk, it's a lot of really, really good teams out there, man. You know, so a lot of people say, oh, that's the greatest team, but they don't know the history. It's a lot of great players out there. You know, one of my favorite players is Pete Maravich. You know, I know the greatest athlete in NBA history. I never back down from this argument unless another athlete came in, but it was Wilt Chamberlain. Wilt Chamberlain was the greatest athlete of all time, but guess what? He was like, he was like 1-10, and him and Jerry West like 1-8 in finals. You know, I don't think how many championships. I'm not sure how many championships Wilt got. Then him and Jerry got one. Bill Russell was just that guy in the middle. But when you're talking about the value of rings, you can't downplay somebody's value if you don't know the history of the league. If you downplaying somebody's value, to be honest, you downplaying 80% of the championships that's been won in the league. Tell me I'm lying. I'm just being honest. All these dudes, the NBA has an agenda. The NBA is one of the most fixable sports right there, boxing. If you want to talk, Jordan 6 rings didn't matter as much as Dirk 1 ring. Let's keep it real. The NBA pushed Jordan to get those rings. He didn't just artificially, or he didn't get by Boston. He didn't get by at Los Angeles. That was the Pistons. And he didn't naturally get by the Pistons. It was going to happen. But the NBA kind of sped up the process. And they helped give him a ring. Look at the rule changes that came with Jordan. You know, come on, man. The hand checking, they took that out. You couldn't touch him. And, man, I can just keep going on and on. I lived it. You know what I'm saying? Hakeem Olajuwon, Dirk Nowitzki, the bad boys and the going to work Pistons are some of the more organic rings in basketball history that I can remember. People, there's no parity in the NBA. Y'all want Durant to wait till he old as hell like Kevin Durant. He not in the cards. They not going to anoint Kevin Durant as the next face of the league. You see how they kind of phasing off from LeBron and now they pushing Zion as the next guy? Kevin Durant is just gonna be one of those. Even Giannis, they don't even have the presence of mind to get Giannis to try to be the face of the league. You know what I'm saying? They don't believe in James Harden, Anthony Davis. They anoint Zion as that next guy. And the NBA want to anoint somebody to be that next guy, even if they got to move a Lou Center to the Los Angeles Lakers, move LeBron to the Lakers in Miami. They will move motherfuckers around to get them a championship and put them in the best position to get ratings. And that's the problem. The NBA, they go looking for ratings. And their ratings will never be, while they doing what they doing now, their ratings will never be what they was at their height in the 90s. It'll never have triple and double headers on Saturday and Sundays no more. They never, the way they doing it, the NBA has to get back to stop rigging the board. And this is why Garnett went to Boston and they teamed up. And this is why Durant went to Golden State and they teamed up. You know, Garnett told them niggas best. He said, man, I signed that big contract in Minnesota and I had no chance to win. I cried every day. He said that was the worst decision remaining in Minnesota. I should have been teamed up and ganged up and got me a ring. Because the NBA, if you ain't one of their chosen ones, then you're going to have a hard time getting a ring. This is why the Boston and the Celtics met like 30 fucking times in the 90s. You know what I'm saying? Obviously not 30. You know what I'm saying? This is why Jordan made it to 6 rings. It's never been parity in the NBA. This is why Bill Russell got 11 motherfucking rings. Look at it. Bill Russell got 11 rings. 11. You go through the 80s. Every championship was the Boston and the Lakers, except for a few. I think Philly got in there one year and the Lakers won. I think Houston got in there one year. You know what I'm saying? And the Pistons got in there one year. So for seven seasons, it was all Boston and LA. You go to the 90s. For 6 seasons, it was Michael. For 1 season, it was Isaiah. For 2 seasons, I believe it was Houston, and then the lockout year it was the Knicks and the San Antonio Spurs. But hey, like I said, if it make you feel comfortable to push that propaganda, a lot of people have me talk NBA, but you can't talk NBA if you don't know the history. You don't not willing to learn the history of basketball. You know what I'm saying? And you, like I said before, man, you can't know your future if you don't know your history. It's a lot of dudes that talk basketball on YouTube who don't know shit. They really don't know. That's my niche. I can really coach basketball. I know basketball. I grew up watching it. I grew up watching film of basketball. I can tell you about a lot of the old timers. You know what I'm saying? The Pete Maraviches, the Jerry Wesses, the Nate Tiny Archibalds. I mean, you can just keep going on and on with great players that played in this league. The forgotten players like Terrell Brandon, Mark Price, who got cut short from injury, Tom Gugliotta. It's a lot of guys I grew up watching. Remember Rex Chapman, Tom Chambers. It was a lot of good white players too back in the day. Rick Smits. People talking about one of the first stretch fives out there. You talking about Bill Laimbeer, Sam Perkins. You can just talk about this. People say, "Oh, the ball players today better." They not. The NBA product is really, sunken, man, and they need to fix that shit, man. But until they fix it, they'll never get the casual fan base that they had in the 90s. And just let you know, Mike was a star, but, right now, he's just not a good product. And I've been saying that for like the last 10 years. But hey, let me know what you guys think. Don't forget me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can reach out if you got business, question, inquiry, response, your video requests. Twitter's the fastest way, Instagram to Facebook. We also got a Facebook group. All those links in the description. Want to make a donation to the channel, Cash App, PayPal description. Best way to donate is share the video. Appreciate the love, support. One time for the one time. It's your boy CJ Goodfella Sports TV. And check out our NBA Talk playlist for more videos like this. And NBA 101 is our live stream playlist. So as we get closer to them kicking back off the NBA, we'll go live with a lot more NBA content. So check out the 101 playlist. We go.